Pat Young, Patloc Safety Systems.
One of my favorite interviews, from roughneck to inventor to president, Mr. Pat Young on the line with us here. And he's based out of Watford City mostly, has some roots in Wyoming, but just got back from Houston, Texas. And I can't wait to hear about the trip for two reasons. One, I want to hear about the energy conversations that you had. But more importantly, did you get to meet the champ?
Well, there is a catch to it.
Oh, no.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's in a good way, though. So, about the champ, well, we can dive into that real quick. So, what it was, one of the gentlemen that worked for me, Marvin Summers, he goes by Sarge. He's been in the Army, over 20 some years.
Sarge has been on this program before, actually.
Yeah, super awesome guy. Runs an innovation company, and I had met him in Midland, and we just always touched base with each other, stayed in contact. So anyway, so we're getting into play. He calls me, and we're planning out this Houston trip, and so we're going through it. And well, he goes, "Well, what are we doing Wednesday?" And so he is really good friends with a gentleman by the name of Termite. And so Termite is kind of a legendary boxer in his own right, and they're actually looking at doing a film about him. And anyway, so we get down to Fighter Nation. It's a gym in Houston, amazing gym. Termite runs it. They got a really good policies, very respectful place down there. So we go down there. And there's, retired baseball players, basketball players, football players. There's movie directors there, and the whole shebang. But before I get into that, I had called my mother about a week prior, and I said, "What are you doing next Wednesday? I need you in Houston." And so she had was able to get time off of work. She works at Walmart up there in Indiana. And so she was really happy to get away from that. And so I didn't tell her anything that we were doing that day because she's a big Holyfield fan. And so I wanted to surprise her and just make a good memory out of it. So we walk in there, and my mom's just looking at me like, "What are you doing now?" Because we always try to one-up each other. And sure thing, she recognized Tori Holyfield, Evander's wife. And then, sure thing, Evan was there, which is their son, and the event is him making the announcement of him going pro and signing a professional contract. And so got to meet Evan and Tori Holyfield, great people. That kid's going to go a long ways in boxing. And here he holds like 12 amateur belts, so he was ready to go pro, and then. But I think the reason why Evander didn't show up is he probably didn't want to take the attention and the scene away from his son, which is really respectful actually, and and I don't think he would do it intentionally. It's just he's a big name guy, very popular guy, and but no, I mean, but it was super cool. Met I don't know if you remember this. Remember Booker T?
Of course.
Oh yeah, hung out with him for a bit. Mom took some pictures with him. Really super nice guy, and it was just really cool. Everyone was there to support Evan and his new boxing career, and so we made some good contacts there. Did a little bit of networking, and
now that's a place to network at, Evan Holyfield press conference, right?
Yeah, and the guy, so I believe he's 21 years old. Starting out at, I believe it was light middleweight, something like that. And, he was just going to basically probably just keep, going through his career, probably packing on some pounds and probably getting the same arena, his old man was in. So, but no, really look forward to following him and, see how his career progresses. But one of the better things is, we surprised Mom. I always love giving back to her. She worked real hard for my brother and I and my dad. So
I'd love to see a picture of your mom and Booker T. That'd be funny.
I got it. I'll send it to you.
All right.
And so, but it was just seeing the face on Mom, how excited she was, something that she's never done before. She's never even been to Houston before, and just turned it, being that some of the meetings got, shifted because of, some health issues with some of the people we were meeting with. It was nice to switch it into almost not necessarily a vacation, but a good time to just spend with with Mom and the folks, and just not necessarily salvage the trip, but definitely make it memorable.
Sure. Did you get any business in, or did it just turn into a family vacation, or did you get any?
Well, a little bit. So I was able to sit down with Sarge a little bit longer than we normally have, really ever, and go through a lot of his networking contacts, and so which he has about 12,000 followers on LinkedIn. So it's nice to kind of use that content and get us pushed out into some more areas. We will be headed back to Texas probably here in about 2 weeks. We do got some other deals that are finally coming up to date. So that's really exciting. Yeah. So I mean, even though we didn't get to do a lot of business in Houston, we definitely had an amazing experience. Great people down there, and then we got to make good memories with the family. So it was a home run.
Yeah, I had a similar thing. I was in Casper, Wyoming. I was supposed to be in Denver and had some meetings change and had to call an audible myself. That kind of seems the way of the oil and gas industry, especially during the summertime, if you know what I mean. I mean, it's summertime is when people seem to work hard and play hard the hardest, if that makes sense, because they got to take their vacations, and yet they got to double their business because it slows down a little bit in the wintertime, and it's a crazy time.
It does. No, it does. You're 100% right. And right now the temperatures are really good right now, and things slow down in the winter, and now it's kind of the time to kind of ramrod some stuff. The daylight's longer, so it's good to take advantage of. It's a good time to get caught up on projects, and and just try to jam everything in before that first cold spell.
Now, you're talking about going back to Texas. You've got some good business down there, from what I understand. Last time we spoke, you were kind of hoping to get some salespeople added or some business development people, and it sounds like you're having some conversations. Are you still kind of looking for that?
Yeah. So last time we talked, Jason, we actually had a few contacts come through on possible sales reps for us through our Facebook ads and through through the radio as well. And so we did bring on 2 more. And sure thing, one of the gals that works for us, she had some contacts, so she just used them and was able to set some meetings up, and she actually sold her first Patloc yesterday.
Holy, where's the bell? Let's get the bell. Let's get the party going.
Yeah. So, I was so pumped for, I mean, granted, it's only one, but, it's creating that relationship, and it's, selling one can go a long way. But I was just so happy for her, and so we'll be sending her a commission check on that, and she sees what we're doing, so she's super excited over everything that's going on. And
honestly, though,
we're still looking for more sales reps,
but I do want to point out something
that we're all about it.
That gal and her turnaround, that says a lot about her and her contacts and the trust and the relationship there, because you know this as well as I do. If you're starting out in the energy industry, it might take 6 months to 2 years before you get your first sale.
Absolutely. My first big sale that our first just sale in general when we started Patloc, it took some time, because this is a new product that changes a dinosaur way of doing things. And so, some are open to it, some ain't. But once it seems that once you just get the ball rolling and actually starting with maybe just one unit where the company can observe it and test it and play with it and, make their own assumption out of it. It works really, really well. And, and sometimes deals take longer than others, but, if you stay on it and, don't drop the ball and stay in contact and hold true to your word, I mean, you can just about do anything. So,
did you start in your garage basically?
Pretty close. I mean, it started from the idea to a scrap metal bin and figuring it out. And then from there, I moved into a small, about a 15 by 20 shop, just a small little shop. I can't remember what the original purpose of that building was, but it had really turned into a big storage facility. So I had cleaned it all out, organized all of it, got all this crane stuff out of it, and then just started going to town. And then, didn't really have much, money to advertise or really anything. So you just kind of brand it, and so just did that and stuck to it and, busted my butt for a long time and, used any kind of contact I could use just to get the ball rolling a little bit. And then, as soon as that ball got momentum, it just kept going. And, we were able to start doing some bigger deals and, then move away from that. And then that's when we bought the old Found It Now building in Watford, right across from the Come and Go. And so now it's just been a nice, not far from easy road, but things have progressed every year. Things look up every year. We expand farther every year. So it's a great time, right now.
I was just having that conversation with someone the other day about, they were talking to me about their challenges in business and this and that, and I said, the one thing that I keep my eye on is at the end of the year, whatever that is, if it's July or if it's January or October, whatever your end of the year is your pipeline. Is there more in your pipeline than the year before? Do you have more social media followers than the year before? Do you have, did you bill more, or did your revenue go, did your expenses go down? Just from after a year, are you growing? And I can honestly say, much like you just said, every year it does seem to grow. Sometimes a little, and then sometimes you get that extra nice little step that brings you to that next step. Like for you, going from the storage unit to a nice facility in Watford City, that's a huge leap for somebody like yourself.
Yeah, it was a monster leap, and then we had the. We had the capital to, purchase it outright as well.
How many years was that from, experimenting with some bends to moving into a storage facility to making that leap? Was that 2-3 years, or how many years was that? It would actually be 3 years this September, and we've been in this shop for about 3-4 months already. So that time frame was about 2.5 years from the scrap bin to where we are now. Okay. That's gotta make Mom feel good too, huh?
Oh yeah, she was pretty impressed with it, but I still say, we're still, in that beginning stage. You look at the amount of units we can assist with. I mean, the numbers just insanity. So we've done very well, but we're looking at a big picture here, and we're literally trying to change an industry standard, and it's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of hard work, and but like we've been saying, we get these little pick-me-ups here and there, and we get that foundation a little thicker and thicker, and it's just been working out really well. We've had to put our dues in, but just like with anything, it comes with a price. So,
Pat Young, I appreciate you making my job easier with your statements, because I was going to transition into reminding people what you do for a living. Here we are, 15 minutes into the interview, and we just take for granted everybody listened to the previous interview that we did, and we should probably explain to people what it is you do, and what it is your product is and who your customer is and everything else. I mean, we can swap about Booker T and Evan Holyfield stories all day long and talk about our moms, but we should probably talk about how we make some money to support all that too. So remind the listeners out there what it is Patloc Safety Services, and what it is you guys do.
So what we do, we designed basically a mechanical leverage-based device that we install on the rear of pumping units, Lufkin's, Weatherford's, Liberty's, any type of conventional Mark unit or anything similar to that. Got about 11 models. But what our product does, what Patloc does is it safely engages and, more importantly, disengages your paws or your dogs on top of pumping units. And if you're unfamiliar with that, it's that big steel arm that falls into your brake drum that basically kills all the kinetic energy. Normally, individuals are required to crawl up on top of these units. I call it the belly of the beast, is how I like to say it, because it is a beast. You don't know what it's really going to do most of the time, unless it's properly locked out. And so what our products do is it engages and disengages it from outside the pumping unit fence. It's a one-man show, no hot work permits required. It's a complete clamp-on bolting system. Takes about 15 minutes to install. And the good thing is, if you guys are on the rigs, we can get this product on, get it on the unit before you even show up, or at least have it there for you. And one of the key features, one of the biggest customers or a lot of feedback we're getting are from the rigs, because they can engage that pawl, lock it out. It has its own lockout by the handle. And now you can actually safely go inside that fence, throw your chain around that big bull wheel or flywheel, however you want to do it, and then chain it down. And what that just did, it just shut that window down on any type of injury or any type of near miss, or even, hopefully nothing worse than that happening. And so it's been a big safety feature. I've been getting a lot of, it's just one of those things when people see it, they say this thing should have been around 40 years ago. And, I kind of got a smart aleck remark to that, which is, it only took us about 2 weeks to figure it out. But it's a great device. We've had tons of awesome feedback. We're actually adding a big page to our website where it's just all these really good testimonials testimonials we've had from people. But yeah, it's a very unique device. It's the only kind on the market. So that's exactly what we do. Or just innovation itself. This is real funny, Jason, real quick. I had a guy come in, because we also sell these, it's basically a synthetic stainless fire tube. It's called the Legendary Fire Tube. I named it after Wes Harriman, you know who that is, and named it after him. And anyway, we park it outside, and so now we had a guy come in looking at doing some type of innovative project, which we're working on him now. So now we're kind of leaning into, if you got an idea, or you're an innovative person in general, and you got these ideas, you want to take them from paper to something physical, come on down to the Patloc shop. We're located in Watford City, or you can call me at 307-689-7002, and we will actually sit down, work with you, consult with you on how to bring your project back to life.
How are things going in Watford City?
Things are going good. Well, everyone's busy. I stay in contact with a lot of these outfits, and everyone's working pretty good right now. Everyone's getting plenty of hours. If anything, their workforce is a little short, meaning, there's a lot of jobs available up in this area. I know, like a few service companies and welding shops around this area that I work with. They could use some help. they could use some hands. They'll probably start out really well, and but it's entirely up to them.
There's such a push right now, at least in some circles, and we've been one of the pushes about the trade skills. The welders, the pipe fitters, the electricians. Boy, if you've got that skill, it seems like not only do you have a job, but you got some great negotiation power.
Oh, you do. You absolutely do. And it's whatever you make out of anything. I mean, if there is so much opportunity around, you have to sniff it out. You have to want it. You have to want to go for it. With big risk, you get a big reward. And it's just, I don't know. I've always loved the oil industry. I think anybody can do anything in it, and I don't believe any other industry can even come close to even comparing to that.
Well, I think what the oil industry does very well is it really enables opportunity, and it doesn't enable entitlement. And I like that. I think that is the way to keep people motivated. And,
yeah.
And you go to some communities and they've got community centers donated by a oil company, and some of them look like the Taj Mahal, and some of them look like, like a steel Quonset building. And when you dig in, what you find out is like, okay, the energy company basically gave enough to get it built, and then the communities that decided to go from there have the amenities that were added, and that's what I like is they're not going to give you everything. They'll give you 50% or even 70% or 20 or 30. They'll just give you enough to get your boost going and get everything going to offer opportunity where no one else will. That's the part that I think gets lost at times is, somebody will say, oh, they didn't give us enough or this and that. Oh, no, they gave you an opportunity, and that's more than anyone else gave you.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right on that. Yeah. And like you said, there's not many places you can do that. I mean, there really ain't. And so, it's just, figuring out what you want to do and whatever it takes to support family or whatever. But, be smart about it, and you can go pretty damn far. You can go pretty far in a short amount of time if you're the right candidate for that job.
So let's wind up here with you're looking for some sales people, some business development people, and you've got some expansion going. So at the same time, you're looking to probably get some bids and that sort of thing. So take this time to kind of recap those two things, because that's really at the end of the day what we're trying to get going. We're trying to solve some solutions for some people out there that are looking to make their sites more safe and more economical, and you're one of those companies that can do that. So, take the opportunity to really let the people know how you can help them.
Yeah, so, again, our business was, designed off innovation and, troubleshooting, and Patloc, they take it as far as they can, and just, innovating and creating just, a safe environment for workers. Our Patloc lockout device is so simple. It doesn't take rocket science to figure out what we're doing. And, it's in my eyes, it's a no-brainer. I mean, whether we chase rigs for you and, we get the job done, but in the long run, these tools help people not only now but down the road. The people that are going to be taking their spots, it helps them down the road. And it's just people just need to keep that in mind. That we're not going to be here forever, and the people that take our spots, we want to help them out the best we can. And Patloc is a pure example of that. And but like I said, we'll keep innovating and this and that. Like I said, if you're a sales rep that's looking for some more work, come on down, give us a call, send us an email. You can email me at pat@patloc.com, or you can give me a call at 307-689-7002. Or if you're just in the area, you can't miss us in Watford City. We're right in the middle of Main Street there, right across from the Come and Go. Come on in, we'll give you a shot at it. And let's just keep working on making the Bakken a safe place to work.
And if you're wondering what kind of boss Pat Young of Patloc is going to be, I mean, all you got to know is he flew his mom down to Houston to meet Booker T, Tory, and Evan Holyfield. So I mean, that's a son if I've ever seen one. So if you want to work for the kind of guy that takes care of his mom, there you go, Pat Young at Patloc.
So I got to tell you this real quick. So my mother had kind of made up this story that she had to leave and go do something, right? And because she had just gotten back from she had 3 weeks off from a surgery, okay, and so she was feeling good again. Well, then obviously this came up out of the blue. I'm like, Mom, okay, if I can get you in Houston, this is one of those things you're not gonna want to miss. So she made up this story at work that she had. I don't know exactly what was said. So anyway, we do everything in Houston. We come back. Well, Mom being Mom, she can't hold this in. It was too much of an experience. It was too great of a time. So she just goes right up to her boss and tells her exactly what happened. And so the guy's just sitting there listening to this story. And at the very end of this story, she goes, well, you're going to write me up? You're going to fire me? What are you going to do? And the guy just looks at her and he goes, that's one of the greatest stories I've ever heard. And there's no way I would write you up for any of that. And just thought it was just the coolest thing. Thought, I did a hell of a deed for her, and just completely turned it around. So it was that was really neat. So Mom's kind of the talk of the store right now, I guess you could say.
And she's got a clear conscience and everything.
Yeah, and it was just and that's just how she is, and so it was really neat for her to kind of take that to a different level. So
good for the boss too. That's a great story. It sounds like everybody turned out happy in the end, and you're gonna be back in Texas in a couple weeks, right?
Yeah. So we're gonna go back down there. We got some. We've been getting a lot of attention down there. People get it. I'm not saying by any means up here is any different, but they just have so many pumping units down there, and it was an area that we were eventually wanting to take on, and so it's just kind of getting that early relation going. We still got. Looks like we'll probably be closing up a few deals here up in North Dakota again with some more outfits. And, so it's just getting anywhere we can to, prevent anything bad from happening. So if it takes a lot of traveling, we'll travel.
And that's what we've heard from a lot of smaller companies that are innovative companies. They've had to just do multiple shale plays. It's kind of what was needed, if that makes sense. We live in a wired world. We can do these things to a certain degree. And so it's almost like the energy industry, again, presents the opportunity, and we just got to figure out how to leverage the assets we all have. Yeah,
and like you're saying with innovative outfits, you can, like us, we really started meeting everybody here about a year and a half ago, okay? And so, but, if you got a product that can go everywhere, you kind of just got to roll some dice every now and then and be like, okay, well, we need to, invest in that Midland show. It's gonna cost a good penny, for the booth and the whole exhibit, the displays, the travel, the hotels, the food, but you're not gonna. It's just some things you have to do, and and then just do it. So so expanding, it's just something you got to do, especially in that type of innovative, atmosphere.
I hear you, man. We had to, do the same thing in our business, and of course you've familiar with the championship belt that we commissioned for Johnny Green. And, that whole thing is based on exactly what you just said. It's just a different approach. We have a product as well, and we can go in every different shale market, but we can go international as well.
Right.
Which we are. I mean, I get more downloads from Brazil and Saudi Arabia than I'd care to ever know about. I mean, I don't know what to do with that. I just know I get a lot of South American and Middle Eastern listeners, because they want to know what's going on with the energy industry in America. It makes sense. So, and I think of that and I'm going, okay, well, that's just what we need to do. But the Johnny Green thing's to engage with the different people around the different shale plays and the different people in different states, and to really create a positive, fun, energetic way to approach energy instead of the traditional political way, and will it work? No idea. We're just going to try some different things, much like all the other innovative companies, that you got to just try different things and see how it works. And if they do, you keep rolling with it. If not, you can't let it anchor you. You just got to keep going, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, try it. I mean, not only the industry, but just, society and the world itself changes and moves so fast that, you could look up on maybe how to do something, and maybe that content, it might have been a year ago, but it ain't the right way to do things anymore.
Well, so I honestly, if someone would have sat down with me and gave me, $1 million marketing agent that was going to project my future for me from Madison Avenue or whatever the heck, and he would have told me that your company is going to sponsor an environmentalist and commission a belt, I would have probably left the meeting. I would have said, what are you, crazy?
Yeah.
And here we are a year later. That's exactly what we did, because we had to have that. For us, that next step was, okay, we have the energy enthusiasts following us, and we've got that, but we need to we got to get to that next step. And that next step is bringing people back to understand what energy is about. And, and honestly, I think that's going to help businesses like yourself, because what it does is it really helps companies understand the importance of safety, and it just goes through and it makes people just reevaluate things and that's always healthy. That's always healthy to do. Not to the point of paralysis, not analysis of paralysis, but it's important to challenge yourself. And keep moving forward. That's what innovative companies do. That's a better term. Challenge yourself. That's the better term.
Well, it is. And what I've kind of noticed, like this year, is, sometimes life throws you a little window, and it's just whether you see it or not. And we've kind of noticed a few just kind of really odd coincidences, or that's kind of strange or whatever, and then you kind of just dive into it and see for what it is. We have made more contacts that way and have really boosted our sales. Just going, seeing a different window of opportunity and just kind of taking it for what it is and just going with it, and then it's just, staying outside of that staying outside the bubble. Like it has really opened up a lot of doors for us, and brought a lot of opportunity for others. So no, it's just this peace of mind. That's just something we've been kind of picking up on lately.
And folks, these are the types of conversations you're going to have around the lunchroom at Patloc Safety Systems if you're interested in becoming one of their sales reps. How's that for transition back, huh?
I like it. We're picking up a lot. We're getting installers in about 4 or 5 different states right now. So I mean, it's if you want to get on early on something good, now's a great time to start. So like I said, come on down to the Watford shop in Watford City, the Patloc shop, or give us a call 307-689-7002. Find us online, patloc.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram, everything. So don't be bashful.